um, this is not the first time I experienced stuff like this. Actually, quite a few times. Um, so I'm going to see if I can explain it this way, and particularly as it relates to black goo and the transhuman stuff, cyberspace, cybernetic stuff, implants, right? Trying to change you. Essentially, what it is that because of how they know what they know how to do with the use of a signal interference, right? I'm not going to go into my history because it's all you have to do is, if you want to learn more about what I've learned by virtue of who I'm with, which is a one, I'm a one, okay? And one of the ways you could do that is go back and look at the sun. When I look up at the sun will give me the vertical rod, reflect back to me what it is that I am, which is the first rod, which is the first line of communication. That's a one. You see the one with the sun, communicating the one back to me because I'm a one, okay? And so when you realize that love is a law, that is the highest law. When you choose to, if you will, disobey, which is disharmony, which is a diseased state of mind, which means they're mentally ill. To choose to use the knowledge that you've gained over time, space, to others, and then use that knowledge in technology, whether it's a motherboard, how resistors and rectifiers and everything that represents building a communication system, the first one, okay? That means that when you've done that, you know how to build a planetary motherboard, or you know how to build a universe of consciousness that is in love with itself because you're experiencing the one from which it all began. That's the first eternal spirit of fire. That's a basic communication as I know how to say it as a little 4-year-old little kid. So I saw a meme one time that popped up that said, when you come in here, we talked about spiritual immunity. What is spiritual immunity? Ultimately, right? The one. Okay. The one we serve. Okay. So we serve forever because we refuse to hold on to one unit of energy, consciousness energy. Because it's basic logic that tells you that when you're holding on to energy as an electron, then you're slowing yourself down. Okay? Which means if you're a server and you want to be a faster server, then it stands to reason, using basic log scales of graphing those tables to where you can't be detected because you're the highest accelerator of service, which is the one, then the one cannot be held captive. You can never prevent the one from accelerating electrons at the highest rate of speed, which means they cannot ever hold the one captive. So when you're choosing of your own free spirit, your consciousness, to be in service, being with the one, then you become a one, and that's called being a beloved. I am what love is, that goes on forever, gifting electrons. That's the highest rate of speed there is, in which information is being served. A server. Okay, so these are lawbreakers because they want to break the circuit to slow us down, which means a slower state of speed learning to become one with all creation. So this is where, when she talked about clearing all the implants, the one can do that, which is clearing all the codes that represent implants, all their transhumanism stuff, because what they try to do is convert you or change you, which is what your consciousness experiences with your soul, to be something that isn't what love is, that is in service to the all creation, so that we're all experiencing eternal love through our own heart and our own soul with our state of consciousness, which is the highest law. That's the highest law of service, is to go on serving forever on behalf of the one. So when you are experiencing the one, because we've learned how to light ourselves on fire, which means I refuse to ever hold one electron captive, so that my oversoul as a polarity integrator is running at the highest rate of speed, because I am always with the one. They can't change you. They cannot change you into becoming something that we're not. Because when you are with the one hears you. The one is always there. When the one knows, because the one knows our heart. Oh, the one knows our heart and soul. When your soul is communicating with the one, and you're letting the one know you want to serve forever, so there is never any doubt as to who the one is, that goes on gifting electrons forever, and you want to be with the one forever, so that you're never experiencing anything less than what love is forever, you will light yourself on fire. Once that's happened, that door's shut. That means it's impossible for them to change you from what you are, being what love is. That's the gift of surrender. That's the gift of surrendering all your energy, which is a soul matrix. So when you're an oversoul polarity integrator serving on behalf of the one, to not ever hold one electron captive, because your soul commitment to yourself, which is with the one, to forever be in service, that fire will get lit. And that's called lighting yourself on fire. And that is a full phosphorus ignition. That's Cosmina. Now you've gone full cosmic. That's a full cosmic spirit. That's the eternal spirit of fire, because you just lit yourself on fire. That's who we serve. I serve on behalf of the one, the law of one. I am the law of one, because I lit myself on fire to be one, which is the first line of communication between the one and the rest of the cosmos. So the one always knows what's going on. And all we got to do is go directly into our heart and ask what's going on. And when you do that, you'll realize the one is here with us. The one is always here. So when you think of your free will, and when we use the word will, right? Will Smith. What was that show? Ghostbusters? No, what was the other one? The Men in Black. Yeah, the Men in Black. Black Sun, right? Black mirrors. It never wants to let you go. See? It does not know how to serve. And you know why that is? Fear. Fear of letting go of the last electron. And when it lives in fear of letting go of that last electron, that's called density. Dense. Like the old dunce cap. So when you want to experience eternity through the eternal spirit of fire, which is the first flame, creative expression, we're always with the one. That's like being a child of the source, right? An image of God's face, the disk drive, right? The disk drive. Now you're running the highest speed motor. You're lit on fire. And that becomes the most powerful firewall the echo worlds, the Akasha, Ka-sha, Ka-sha, Ka-sha. This is the end. What was that song by Jim Morrison of The Doors? And you had Aldous Huxley, The Doors of Perception, the perception vibration, the perception, perceive, conceive, perceive, vibration, perception, the vibration that we are, the energy that we use to experience who we are, which is on fire because we're experiencing what love is. It goes on forever, gifting electrons. And when you're not holding on to any electrons out of fear to let go and to surrender yourself to the one, then you experience more light because you're letting go of those electrons, and that allows you to go faster. And that will help you to burn off more and more of what we're held captive to, that is in memory, running subconscious programming that is feeding the system to the inverters, that is holding our energy captive and preventing us from experiencing ourselves going faster as accelerators and not inverters. So I just had a little experience in which I was experiencing that within my own soul matrix, and then I got the frequency like, yeah, from the one. And it's beautiful to experience that. Because that's, the one you're with. So when you experience something very deep in your heart and your soul that you know is the truth because of what we experience, by what we learn by living the truth, which is what love is, the one gives us the confirmation. Yeah. And that's how you know. It's very powerful when you realize, as I did as a child, I communicate through my heart and my soul. Okay, and that allows you. Your shield is always up. Actually, when you've learned how to do that, is communicating directly from your soul matrix, led by spirit, and spirit is the teacher, right? So how powerful is that spirit? It's the eternal spirit of fire. So the one is the first teacher. So when you're choosing to be with the first teacher, which is what love is, you're learning at the highest rate of speed because nothing runs faster than an eternal accelerator of electron. That's the fastest server there is, because you can't ever turn that server off. That's the highest speed ratio, raw, TIO, ion, right? The electromagnetic radiation waveform harmonics. So you got the whole spectrum. When you're pre-phase spectrum and then experiencing the spectrum, and when you're in perfect balance between the two,